All right. Yeah, so I'd like to call Valerie back up here again to say a few words again around where we are and some of the challenges ahead before we start to wrap up.
Well, Doug, as always, fabulous presentation, very interesting work that you're doing, just really on the forefront of work, I think probably within Indigenous peoples around the world. I know that you were in Australia talking with Aboriginal people in there about the work that you're doing. And no wonder it's so interesting. There isn't really anywhere else in the world that's doing this kind of scale of integrated conservation, changed governance and decision-making, where First Nations are becoming integrated into decision-making over their territories at the same time as the government is kind of reluctantly figuring out how they're going to give up some of their decision-making rights on that same land. And at the same time, we've got a huge conservation initiative at play. So it's very complex, and it's being done at a variety of scales, from the community to the regional level. As I said, an area the size of Ireland. So we've got major challenges ahead, not just because this is a complex place, but because change never happens without resistance. And I'm sure all of you here, I'm not telling you anything you don't already know, but these are struggles, not just nice conversations that happen. And there's struggles as everybody tries to figure out how to get what they need in spite of what they may actually want. And so we're in an absolutely incredible place where it's clearly a unique ecosystem with unique fauna, unique megafauna, enigmatic microflora, and lots of unique cultural elements. But what has changed over the last decade is that we were heading straight for a cliff very fast. The way that management was in the North and Central Coast timber supply area was set out. We were going to head the forest very quickly over a cliff, and with it all the species and the culture that was developed within that intact ecosystem. And over the last, primarily the last 8 years, we've been able to kind of slow that course down. So instead of heading straight onto the cliff, we're now at a 45-degree angle, and the trajectory is such that things are better, but we're still going to hit that cliff. And with it, the habitat and the cultures that depend on the kinds of functions of these ecosystems. And that's not what we're here for. Our challenge is actually to have one place, at least in the world, that is a model for how you protect a whole ecosystem, not 100 hectares, not a few hectares here or there scattered around. How you actually protect a whole ecosystem in a way that is just to the people that live within it, that's durable over time. And this is actually what we're doing now. There is nowhere else in the world where this kind of a complex system is at play, ecosystem-based management actually being implemented from theory onto the ground. And so we have this incredible challenge ahead of us because we are literally months away. After many delays, we were supposed to have ecosystem-based management in 2009. It was delayed, and we went for another 5 years. March 2014 came and went, and we still haven't got full ecosystem-based management on the ground. And a new deadline was set for December of 2014. That's just months away. And what I can tell you is this, that the Great Bear Rainforest is very unique ecologically, and the cultures are very unique, but what's at play here is very, very common around the world. You know, the struggles between industrial activities and ecosystems and indigenous cultures, those kinds of struggles are incredibly common. And so we're doing something uncommon, and it's brand new. We're inventing this as we go along. And what it means is that we will have a place where in the world there is a model that other people in other nations, indigenous people from other places, where us here in our own nation, in our own province, can have some place that we are actually proud of, that we didn't just slow things down, we didn't do our best, we actually did what needed to be done. There's a couple of challenges ahead of us. One is finishing all the policy and technical kinds of pieces that ecosystem-based management requires. The other is that the province has to negotiate human well-being measures that the decision makers from the First Nations feel will concurrently achieve what they need to survive in their territories within the conservation context. And if the province doesn't actually step up pretty damn quickly and actually get to the table and really negotiate those things in good faith and quickly, we're not actually going to make the deadline. And I don't want to put a pall on the good work that has happened now, but we are at the crux point in the Great Bear. We are going to make it or it's going to break. And you, as people who are concerned about the Great Bear Rainforest, are in the spot where we can actually have our dream on the ground. Over time, it will be the place that we can point to and say to the world, it was hard and we did it. That's where we want to be. The challenge ahead is, will the province make good on the promise to take the Great Bear Rainforest over the finish line with the stakeholders and the governments of the First Nations involved? And you're going to have your opportunity right now to help us make that come true.